Hello. Welcome. My name is Cam Wolf. I've worked with Dustin, been at Nationwide for 4 years, and we've been involved in rolling out Agile across the enterprise.
My name is Chris Miller. I work for AEP. We've just started our Agile transformation. Actually, we're just evaluating Agile. We've been involved in a project since probably July of last year, and I have about 20 years of experience in IT, been with AEP since 2002.
Hello, my name is Jim Brosnahan. I work at AEP as well, and working on the same Agile transformation, the same pilot project with Chris. I've been in IT for 22 years now.
Thanks. My name is Andy Conley. I've been in IT for 16 years. Maybe I'm the young guy here. And I've been at OCLC for about 2 years. Over the last year, we've been transforming our organization, or at least our portfolio piece, into a Scrum Agile organization. And it's been fun.
Hi, I'm Joe Astolfi. I'm with Gap Inc. Direct, the e-commerce division of Gap. I've been in IT over 20 years, and we began our transformation to Agile in San Francisco with our campus there in 2005 and brought it here to Columbus in 2007. And I'm Director of Project Management.
So, can everybody hear me through this? Yeah, it's working. So, we just basically wanted to start it off. We have a couple canned questions if we need to use them, but we'd really like to turn it over to everybody. All questions are open. We'll attempt to answer them best we can.
I work for the state of Ohio. Assuming that being here is square one, we're square two. I mean, in getting started in a transformation effort.
So is it square one?
Square one.
What's coming here? What's next? Take a shot. Go ahead.
Does it work? Okay. Okay, so we've done one pilot project, and where we're at right now is we're trying to document the process to some degree so that people can have some expectations about what to expect once they get on a Scrum project at AEP. We're also in the process of looking for our next pilot project. The first one was run off the scorecard. The second one's going to be run on the scorecard. So that's pretty much where we're at. Our only problem right now is with funding so tight, we've had a really difficult time trying to locate that next project.
Yeah, looking at what we learned with the first pilot, we also really had a list of things that we wanted to look at for the second one, and we wanted to try some different alternatives. I mean, maybe to go back, we were looking at getting a project approved in the same domain space that we had the team assembled for the first pilot, so we can look and see what the investment really comes in, what the payoff is. It took us a while to get any real velocity, and I'm not exactly sure at the end of the project it would be a velocity that we would really be pleased with going forward. But keeping the same team together, the same Scrum Master, the same client, looking and seeing what we would achieve with the second, third, and fourth projects in that same space. And then we were looking at starting up a project of another client and another totally other domain space to run parallel with that, and look at metrics, look at how to scorecard it.
If square one is coming here and learning about Agile, I guess square two, I would ask, what problem or problems are you trying to solve? Do you have an understanding of those?
Well, in city government, you have a lot of problems. Starting with that $8 billion budget hole. But I would say working in the department where I do, it's just a matter of we need to, like everyone else, operate more efficiently, produce better results, as the gentleman's first presentation certainly made clear. I would say our biggest problem is that we don't complete projects on time. We almost don't have an idea of a schedule sometimes. And so it's getting it completed on time, within budget, although we don't budget very well either. So I guess I would just say it's an effort to complete projects in a reasonable time that are good quality, do not require much rework. Same challenges I guess everyone else usually faces.
So what's the motivation to change?
Motivation to change is we're getting into a desperate situation with the budget, and we know we're going to have to, well, as former Governor Voinovich put it, do more with less. And so it's produce better products faster with the same manpower.
Okay.
One of the things you need to make sure you do is, when I joined OCLC, we had the same type of problems, or at least when we looked at it, we wanted predictability, we had quality issues, things like that for the group I joined. But that wasn't really enough. We had to really drill down. I had to drill down a lot into what were the causes of those, and be able to really understand what we had to do to fix it. Scrum by itself wasn't gonna just come in and just lay a template on top of it. We need to know what we were hoping to get out of it, what were the problems we were trying to solve. So for us, it was, we weren't sure, it wasn't clearly defined what it was. I mean, we were doing agile, I guess, loosely. We were doing iterations, but usually the iterations were fixing the problems from the last iteration. Mm-hmm. And so half of the iteration, and they're really small waterfalls. And we had to spend a lot of time tying up both ends of that, meaning the quality. We didn't have enough QA staff, so we focused on continuous integration, building that out, automated regression, and then tying that in on the product side. What's the priority you want next? A lot of times we had like 3 or 4 different product groups giving us priority lists, and development was forced to own that. So we pushed that back and made the business owners own that. Mm-hmm. And had several conversations. I know one of our product owners out there, she heard me say it, that I don't care what the priority is. If I have to make that decision, it's going to be the wrong one. So you have to own that and tell us, we'll work on the next important thing. So those were the 2 things we had to shore up first. And then we were able to really start seriously looking at migrating to Scrum or transitioning to that.
Well, in our case, we've had a difficult time even adopting a process methodology. It has been very difficult. We've had a lot of internal politics get in the way and that sort of thing. I mean, we still have people that want to go straight to the development team and skip the analysis altogether. And I'm surprised that's still allowed to happen, but it does. So I know we have some governance issues as well. But I think what you're telling me is that we need to drill down to find the specific causes of our inability to complete projects on time. And once we identify those, then the Scrum process will make more sense to us.
Right. I think you don't want to throw Scrum, iterative development, Agile, whatever, XP at a problem unless you can map back to how this way of doing development is going to solve your problem, right? So
right.
I know Agile's got a lot of airplay right now, and a lot of folks are trying it. And some of the failures that when I've talked to people and I've seen is that they truly haven't mapped it back to the problem they're trying to solve. And I think Cam hit it when he asked, what problem are you trying to solve? And then if you determine that Agile, iterative development, or Scrum can help you solve those problems, does your organization have the appetite for that change? Can they actually do the things that allows you to be fully agile? Can they be transparent? Can you get rid of some of the politics? Can you give the teams complete control over developing and testing the software and delivering, and not have the command and control attitude, that's traditionally in waterfall projects?
I'll kind of add too, Agile doesn't fix anything. Agile just exposes your weaknesses faster, or your failure. We fail fast is what we call it. So you can't take Agile and assume it's going to fix all your problems, all your budget problems. What it's going to do in a 2-week iteration or 2-week sprint, you're going to be able to see where you're at. And what we've found is the business really loves that, because they feel more engaged with the project. Okay. One of the reasons we saw, or things we saw nationwide, was the business would hand the money out, go away for 9 months, come back and say, you didn't build what I wanted.
Right.
Well, we couldn't get the engagement part to happen at Nationwide. This model forces that engagement part. We force them to come to 2-week show and tells to see what's going on, to do course adjustments. That to me was the powerful point of Agile. It's not necessarily really the practices and everything. It's really the engagement of the business that really helped us out. And you'd be really shocked at how the business can actually solve a lot of the problems.
No, I believe it.
The other part of it too is you have to understand, I think you use the word appetite, I use the word will. Does the organization have a will? Does it want to change? And if you're like the lone person in the organization that wants to change, then it sort of becomes a guerrilla effort. It sort of becomes a bottom-up effort. And all of a sudden, it can become contagious. Success can become contagious. All of a sudden, if everything else is failing and you're succeeding because you've built a relationship with the business, they're engaged in helping define what it is that you're going to build. They see the working software every couple of weeks. When that starts to happen, people start to want to jump onto that bandwagon. It's fun. So Agile, a lot of companies have started bottom up. It's not really that sort of thing that's come top down. It's happened in some places like that, but that's more the exception.
Well, we have what's called a requirements management section, and we do have several analysts that do want to try it. We have one Scrum Master already. It's more of a matter, I think, of us getting the knowledge so that we can sell it to our management, which won't be too difficult, and then them selling it to the rest of management, which might be excruciatingly difficult.
Well, you mentioned something, talking about the budget and the budget issues and governance. Ours at AEP was definitely kind of a grassroots effort going up, and really how we started selling it to our senior management was, we have a lot of governance challenges in utility space, just like you do in government, and we go through in a typical waterfall fashion. You have your commit estimate, which is one of my favorite terms, a commit and an estimate right after that. And then you go through and you have your change control process, and you keep going back to governance because your commit estimate was just that, an estimate. So one of the ways that we really sold it was, what if we look at this from a capacity-based model? And we work with a client that is willing to go in and has a stack of features that they want to look at, and they can prioritize those features. They could work with us in a collaborative fashion, so they could see what the developers can develop. They could have those discussions around, this is very expensive and this is not. So you can have those discussions and prioritize your scope, so your cost is truly fixed by the very nature that it's capacity. So that's really how we're trying to sell it at AEP, is we can go to the governance board once, and scope then is the movable item.
We had a follow-up here in the middle.
Just a comment to what you said. One of the statements you said is you wanted to sell it to management. And I'd highly recommend not trying to sell it to them. I wouldn't ask for permission. I would just take it. Okay? The biggest thing that you can do is deliver, and that's what's going to get attention. They've heard all the words. They're very cynical. They don't believe anything. It's results that are going to drive and become the engine that makes Agile roll out.
Another answer to the question that you just had about what problems we're looking to solve.